All right, guys, let me know you can hear me and you can see the screen. I've got two screens. If you've never been on one of my sessions before, if you see me looking over there, it's because I've got a second screen here to help me stay organized. Okay, so Dennis here, great. Okay, so you can see the screen and you can hear. All right, so apologies for, I wanted to do this on, I think it was Friday. Was it Friday or was it Saturday? I can't remember. My time. I had issues with the computer, okay, and I could either get the Bluetooth mouse working or the Bluetooth keyboard working, but not two together. So I had to get a fix, and I didn't get it back. I didn't get it back working until yesterday, and I did a video, put it into the WhatsApp group within half an hour of getting it back. So apologies for that. Anyway, we've got some training to do this week. We've got a couple of things happening. We've got this marketing agency edition of neighborhood pages. I will talk about the other editions as well. And tomorrow, same time tomorrow, is for Evolution IM. We've got AI agent building session, part 2 for the AI agent factory. Okay, so an AI agent that builds AI agents for you. That's Evolution IM session number 2 for this month. Okay, so just waiting to see if we've got some more people coming in. Phil, I'm sorry for the one-word reply yesterday, Phil. I just come back from the dentist with my son. First time he had his tooth out. I was pretty traumatized. I think I was more traumatized than him, actually. So I wasn't in the mood for like chatting and stuff. Then I fell asleep and I woke up and I saw that we had some messages in the WhatsApp group. So me and Stephanie have been sort of working through the night between us to get it fixed and up and running, and whatever happened after I did the demo video, because everything was working perfectly. And then I don't know, that sometimes when you're working with AI to build tools, it will change stuff that's not supposed to change. So that's going to be another session in Evolution IM, how to prevent that happening in future, and how to get Claude to project manage any builds that you do in places like Base 44, if you're using other platforms like Replit or Manus or Lovable or whatever it might be. Get Claude to project manage it, and you get less problems. Okay, so that's where we are right now. Okay, so neighborhood pages is we've released two editions so far. We did the real estate edition. I've still got to do some updates on that one. Okay, I will get those done probably tonight my time. All the new stuff that we put into the marketing edition, we put in some extra features that will be sort of global across all the neighborhood page niche editions. So those will be put into the real estate one. I need to spend 2, 3, 4 hours maybe updating via Claude project managing for me to be able to do that. I've just not had time to do it yet because I was waiting to get the computer back, the proper computer back, and now I can do it. But I need just free time to do it all in one session to make sure it's all done properly and get tested at the same time. All right, so Paul, welcome. All right, so neighborhood pages. The reason I'm focusing on the marketing agency edition, quite simple, really. I wanted to be able to sort of have something that's relatable to everybody. Okay, and so anybody who is doing the neighborhood pages as a service, then really you should have your own neighborhood pages set up as well. Okay. So I gave that edition for free to everybody who is a recurring monthly member. Okay, there's going to be, I think, 11 editions in total, and we dropped that last week so that everybody could get access who was a member. Okay, tonight hopefully we'll be able to get the home services one tested and released. And that means that we're going to have 3 editions. Okay. Next one after that is going to be real estate. And that one has got 37 different types of lawyers. Home services got 43 different types of home service kind of providers like HVAC and plumbers and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll give you a sneak peek at those. I did sort of give a sneak peek in that video that I did yesterday. And it's getting good now. It's getting good because after this 3rd edition, that widens things up quite a lot for being able to have a sort of larger amount of business types that you can contact. But I did do 1 or 2 extra bits into the home service and legal editions already that I'll show you as well. That makes it even better, especially for kind of long tail keyword targeting. Okay, so I'll cover that as well as we go through. Can I send a link for membership? I will ask Stephanie to put it into the WhatsApp group. If you're in the WhatsApp group, then she can do that. Okay. I don't have it right now. Let me see if she's there actually. Let me just ask her. Okay, let me just ask her. Okay, I did that with a typo. Miracles that happen. Okay, so where was I? Okay, yeah, we got home services edition dropping. Okay, that's got 43 different business types. Okay, next one is the the legal edition. It's got 37 different types of lawyers, which is obviously higher ticket because they've got a lot more money to spend. Okay, and they pay a lot more for their sort of PPC clicks, and they get paid more as well from their clients. What we're going to do after that, I think the next one after that is going to be the finance. We had a few people asking for about finance kind of niches like loans and mortgages and stuff like that. We'll do that one after after that as well. What I will do though is when we have got the real estate, when we have got the legal, I've got real estate here. I've got 3 different things open here, and I keep looking at real estate, and when I look at it, I speak it out. When we've got the legal one ready, which is probably going to be early next week, maybe Tuesday next week, Wednesday, I would imagine latest, I'm going to drop that straight away to all the members. Okay, so if you've got the home services and that one, that's going to give you over 80 different niches, 80 different services or business types. And I'll drop that in good faith, so, if somebody cancels after that, then of course we'll have to revoke the access, but I'll drop it early just to make sure everybody's got, a fighting chance with as many business types as possible. And hopefully we can start to see some people getting results. Okay, so what we're going to do with this session, we'll just go through the marketing agency. It's going to be very, very similar to all the other editions, the way that it's set up. Okay, so the session 1 is going to be a kind of walkthrough, and we can do Q&A as we walk through as well. And the second session that we do, which is going to be next week, we will do for kind of strategy, getting clients, different things that you can do to be able to get clients. Okay, and it's going to be more strategy stuff rather than how to use the tool. Okay, so today is about how to use the tool. All right, let's see, we got a lot more people coming in. Okay, Petra, you knew main link to connect. Are you talking about sales page link or the WhatsApp group link, Petra? Backlinks, yeah. I would suggest what we have with the SEO sneakers is going to be good for this. With the SEO sneakers and press release links, I think it's going to be good for this. This is something I want to talk about. And let's talk about this right now. When you are building a new website, when it's a brand new website, okay, I watched the video yesterday. It was only a short video from Nathan Gotch, and it actually got me thinking because I hadn't thought about this before in the same way that he put it. Nathan's pretty, he's pretty authority. He's an authority with SEO stuff. He's been doing it for years and years. I kind of was for a long time, and then I pulled away from it and started getting into other kinds of stuff. But he's been consistently doing the SEO stuff for I don't know how many years and years and years. And I saw a video he did yesterday, and what he was saying was that if you are publishing on a brand new website, it's better to publish one major page and go and get backlinks and start to build authority on that one page. And as you start to get indexed and build authority, then you can start adding the other ones, etc. as well. That kind of doesn't work for the neighborhood pages. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I actually put it in last night's newsletter. Okay, we sent out a newsletter. We send out a newsletter about between 4 and 6 times a week. And it's always got different strategies that people are sharing on places like Twitter, sometimes on Substack, sometimes on YouTube, mostly on YouTube. And what we do is we get all the transcripts from all the videos, and we get AI to generate a newsletter. And then we go and get a summary of each video if it's YouTube, and plus the key insights, and plus the checklist. Okay, and we put that in a separate Google Doc, which is linked to from the newsletter. Okay, so it's like getting 15 free strategies in your inbox every single day with that newsletter. But because I put it in the newsletter, I'm glad you brought that up, because about the SEO, because if you had read that and you were trying to equate that to what we're doing here, it would be problematic, because we can't really do just like one page. Okay, and we got a different approach altogether, because what we are doing is we are targeting local neighborhoods. Okay, with the local neighborhoods, say for example, me here in Pattaya, in fact, let's use London as an example. If I was in London, I might have a neighborhood called Wood Green. I might have another neighborhood called East Finchley. I might have another neighborhood called, I don't know, Highbury or something like that. Okay, I thought of a football stadium and it came to mind. And so you would have all these different neighborhoods that are targeting specific services. Now, what we would expect to get from that is people who are searching in those locations would be shown those pages. Okay, that's the whole sort of long tail play that we're doing here. So Nathan's approach, although it's very, very good if you're doing a sort of content-based website that's going to have things like tools, calculators, articles, guides, that kind of stuff, that is correct, what he's talking about. Okay, but what we are doing is completely different, and the two should not be equated for what we are doing here. Okay, unless you want to add, to a main kind of website and build out from there. But I suggest you do not do that. Okay, I suggest you do not do that. I would just rather have a separate site for the services, and link to it from the menu bar on the main site. Okay, and I covered that in yesterday's video, where I mentioned that most businesses that you are providing a service for, they will want their brand name, their brand name within that URL or within that domain. Okay, so if it's XYZ real estate services, then you would have the business name as the XYZ. Okay, so you would still have your keywords in there, like real estate services, but put the brand name in there as well, and just buy a .com or something for that. Okay, so that's one of the questions that did come up. There was somebody who was confused about how to do the domains. The answer is, don't overthink it. Keep the branding in there. Put the service type in there. Okay, so if it's marketing agency, you could do this for PPC agencies, for marketing agencies who don't have the technology to do what you can do now. Okay, and I've worked before with marketing agencies, not always the easiest to work with, but they understand, they grasp the concepts pretty quickly, and they can either want it or don't want it. I just don't haggle with them when I'm dealing with them. I never did when I was dealing with them. They either took it or left it, and it didn't bother me either way. I just offered the service, and they gave me a call and they say, okay, this is what it is and this is what it costs, and this is how soon you can get it delivered. If they start to drill too much, become a pain in the ass, I would just walk away and say, no, I've got somebody else now who's doing it. Okay, because they can be problematic to deal with at times. But at the same time, if you can build a good relationship with those kind of agencies, they can bring other people where they will sell the service for you. Of course, they're going to make a markup, but they can actually do selling for you as well. Okay, I've had that situation before as well, where somebody sold for us website services, but they were taking the cream and leaving me with the people who couldn't afford to pay them, which was okay for us at the time because we were just starting. That was back in about 2011 or 2010. Anyway, I kind of wandered off there. All right, so what we're going to do, let's just start with where all of this started from. Okay, the guy called Noel Setter. He is he's a guy who just suddenly appeared in Twitter, as far as I'm aware anyway, just a few months ago, and he kind of shot up his follower numbers very, very quickly. One of the reasons was he published a case study for a real estate agent that he was working with, and he had created the neighborhood pages. Now, the very first software that I did back in 2011 was called Local Traffic Commando. It was kind of similar, only it was content based and not landing page based, and it was for all the different cities. But we were using things like neighborhoods, etc. as well. But just the way he had done it and the way he had laid it out, where for the real estate agents, they would have information about the local area, which is something we can do now with AI, which would have been really, really hard to do back in 2011. And he had put in, just really specific information about the agencies, about the services they provide. And so he had, the services times the neighborhoods. So if you've got 10 services, 10 neighborhoods, that's 100 pages kind of thing, all with very unique content, but with landing pages. Okay. Now, I did initially look to see if we could put this into Local Traffic Commando, but it became quickly obvious that was not going to be able to work. That app would have got far, far too complicated, and we could not get all the niches into one app. With the neighborhood pages that we got now, it's taken about 4 rebuilds to get there. So we were never, ever going to be able to put that kind of build with that kind of information, with the depth that we got in there, into something like Local Traffic Commando. That's something else that came up in one of the groups. Okay, they're just 2 different tools. If you look at people like Matt McDonald over in Warrior Plus, he does landing pages for video sales letters. He does landing pages for video reviews. He does landing pages for affiliate video. He's not putting them all together, and nobody's giving a shit about it. There's a reason I couldn't put it in there, is because it would get too complicated. Okay, it would get too complicated. If I could have put it in there and I decided to go with it, I could easily have really pushed the Local Traffic Commando thing and put that just on a monthly if you wanted that sort of addition to it. But it was never going to work. Okay, so what we have here is something that will create completely unique content on every single page. Okay, right down to the sort of who we are as the agency part of each landing page. Is going to be specific to that neighborhood. Okay, everything's specific to the neighborhood, and that means that we're getting in there what we call entities for those local neighborhoods, so that it's going to help it to get rankings. It's going to help us to get some impressions, clicks, etc. as well. Okay. It's got more advanced SEO stuff in there as well. People were asking about schema. It's already there. It gets injected when you're publishing into WordPress, and it's got an SEO audit, and it will tell you the SEO score for every single page, which you can do with bulk reviews and stuff like that as well. Okay, I'll cover that in just a second as we go through. Let me just check on Stephanie, because she was doing a quick update on the app. Okay. So she has, okay, so Stephanie has given me 2 links in here. What I'll do, she gave me the link for, I think this is real estate edition. And let me just see if we can get for the monthly upgrade. Copy that as well. Here's the monthly upgrade one. There's 2 different links I put in there. The second one is the monthly upgrade. You can't buy the monthly upgrade unless you bought at least one of the front ends. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're on the webinar as well. I didn't know you were on the webinar as well. Okay. Stephanie's here too. Good to know. Maybe you could keep an eye on the questions then, since you're here. All right. Just for 5 minutes. Okay, fine. Okay, if you can correct the links, maybe, and explain to people what they are, Stephanie, please. Okay, and I can carry on with this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the marketing agency, and I'm just going to refresh this. I'm going to publish the latest updates. So I'm in base 44 right now, which is where we build most of our tools now. I'm just going to publish and make sure everything. I think it needs to have had an update to be able to publish. I'm guessing it's already published, or Stephanie's just done it. Let's just open this up. Okay. All right, so I've lost all my pages in here as well. I can get them back. They'll be in there somewhere, but I think I'll just start afresh because most of it was testing anyway. I had something like 110 pages and stuff. Okay, so, okay, the first thing we want to do is want to come into the settings. Okay, come into the settings, and we want to choose the different services. Now, if you want to add more services, you can. What I'm going to do first is we need some API keys in here. So all my API keys that were there are not there anymore. Let me just grab those quickly because we can't really go forward without at least a couple of these in there. Okay, let me take OpenAI and Anthropic or something. Okay, let's get OpenAI in here and Anthropic. I would suggest to use Anthropic for most of this, but you can use the others as well. You can use OpenAI if you want to. Grab this. And I'll get ideogram as well because we can do bulk image and featured images as well. Now, one of the things about Noel's case study, where he basically generated about $100,000 on average for all those neighborhood pages, 47 pages, which comes to roughly about 5 million per year. One of the things he did mention was that where's my ideogram gone? He was using something like 20 images on a page. Now, he didn't mention where the images were coming from. I guess that he was taking pictures of local area, and those were getting put on the page with, you know, the metadata for the images, mentioning what the location and stuff was, maybe some from the offices and whatever. Now, where has ideogram gone? I can't see it. Find it. Let me just grab this. It's important because we're going to need this later. Okay, what we can do later is we can generate all the featured images, the hero kind of images. Okay, set your default language. And let's see what else we got up here. Okay, so first, I'm not going to do a full, you know, like 25 services and 15 neighborhoods. What I will do is I will come in and I'll choose ones that I would realistically offer. The thing with marketing services, having done it before, but not for quite some time, is that it's too easy to get into a situation where the client starts to talk to you like an employee, starts to think of you like an employee. Okay. And that means they suck up your time for not much more money if they, you know, they kind of feel entitled. for you to do this, that, and everything else extra for the same kind of price. Here's what I decided in the end before I actually stopped doing the local stuff and started to do products for internet marketers instead, was to set predefined services, okay, where they would get XYZ for X amount of money, okay. For example, I will do SEO services for 1 month for X amount of money, and this is what it entails. This is exactly what you get. and state clearly, anything extra we will be charging, okay. Anything extra we will be charging. Otherwise, what will happen is they will call you and they will say, I need this done, I need that done, I need this done. If you do not have it set up properly, you're going to end up like an employee to them. They're going to be calling you up, can you come to my office, I need to speak to you. They forget that while they're running their business and using you to help them run the business, that you also have a business to run, okay. And if you let them do it, you'll become an employee for them. You cannot scale, okay. You cannot scale. The second part of being able to do like predefined services, like neighborhood pages, for example, is that allows you to scale. If you know exactly what you've got to do, you fulfill it and you can move on to the next client, okay. Really important, because if you don't, you're in for a hellish time, believe me. It's a real hellish time. We had a company in St. Louis, and they flew us from Europe over to America, and we were in their offices for 2 weeks. They put us up in a cheap hotel, and we were in their offices for 2 weeks. We built out, I think it was about 108 WordPress sites. They were a staffing franchise company, so they had people purchasing franchises so that they would show them how to run a staffing agency in places like Boston or places like Chicago, etc., etc. Okay. We never got paid. We never got paid. We got a cheap hotel. We got food for 2 weeks. We worked our asses off, and we never got paid. Okay. And he was trying to say to us that we had a different kind of agreement, that he was going to help us to get more clients and stuff, which was not true. And people will naturally try to take advantage. And another thing that I found as well when I was doing it was you get a lot of people phoning you up. They're trying to get information from you so they can do it themselves, which is going to be really hard for them to do if they don't know marketing. But you get all these different kinds of characters that you end up dealing with. Okay. What I would suggest is, apart from just having your set services, your predefined services, is do not put your prices too low so that you can filter out these kind of people really quickly. And you don't start work until you've got paid. Okay. Don't do any work until you have got paid. If you've got a predefined service and you say we will do 10 services and 10 neighborhood pages, that's 100 in total. Okay. And everyone after that, it will cost you X amount more dollars for one service times 10 neighborhoods kind of thing. Then everything's predefined. If you put it at a price point where you are going to get rid of all the people who might be tire kickers, people that might try to take advantage, then you're going to save yourself a huge amount of time, and that gives you time to do marketing for your own stuff. Okay. Whether that's going to be email outreach, whether it's going to be via ads, which is going to be the quickest and easiest way to do it, or whether it's going to be from having your own neighborhood pages that is getting some, impressions and clicks and traffic coming through to your website. Make it clearly defined, okay? And don't go to the lowest price possible that you could afford to do it for, okay? Put it up a little bit. If somebody really wants that service, then put your price up and they will pay for that service, okay? You can use the real estate case study from No and say, this is what we've seen. We started to do this for ourselves. That's what you see from our own campaign for ourselves. We wouldn't have done this if we didn't think it would work, kind of thing. And you don't tell them how quick it is to do it, or how easy it is to do it either, okay? Because if they know it takes you like 20 minutes to set up a campaign, they don't want to pay that money. Okay, so you don't have to tell them, hey, I've got all this automated. You just say this is a strategy based on that case study. We're going to use that for different niches, different business types. Excuse me, my throat is a little bit dry. Anyway, let's go through this. So what I'll do is I'll choose some of these, okay? And I'll choose the ones that I would actually do, okay? I'll do things like Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, I'm not an expert with Facebook ads, Google ads, or Instagram ads, but I can hire people who are, okay? Yes, it puts the price up, but it doesn't matter, okay? It's a service I can offer if somebody's willing to pay the price for me to go and do the work and supervise it for them, okay? Lead generation campaigns, that would be big here in Pattaya because there's a lot of construction and there's a lot of developers who need leads for people purchasing condos, villas that are being built before they are finished, okay? So lead generation is actually quite big here. Copywriting sales pages, yeah, I could do that. And this one, there was another one as well. Where was the email marketing? Take that one as well. Okay, so I'll take 5 here. I'm not going to go into the workshops and all that other stuff because it takes a little bit of work to map all these out, even if you get it done by AI, which I suggest you do. If you're going to offer any workshops, I'll talk about those in a minute. Get Claude or ChatGPT to help you to map out how to fill in the details for these, and it's just a copy paste job. Okay, now look, locations. I'm going to leave this blank in here at the moment. Okay, I'm going to do that at campaign level, and same with the neighborhoods list. Okay, so I've got what, 5 services or something I've chosen there, and we've got some API keys. All I need to do now is save the settings. Okay, so my settings are saved right now. From some stuff I've seen in support, there may be people who didn't watch the demo video who come into the page generator. If you're using this page generator, it's going to do one service in one neighborhood, okay? One service in one neighborhood. If you go into the dashboard and you choose a new campaign, this is where you can do the bulk generate, okay? So if I click on the single page, look what happens. It takes me back to a generator page. Okay, so from the dashboard, what you want to do is click on new campaign, and it automatically goes to the bulk generate. Okay, the bulk generate, that's where we're going to find it. And you can see I've got 5 different services. Now I need to highlight these. Okay, and then next, we'll just click on this. I'm going to put in here, Pattaya, Chonburi is a region. Okay, the content length, I'm going to keep it medium. Campaign language, I'm going to have to do English because I don't want people calling me and speaking to me in Thai because I do not speak Thai. Okay, now all we need to do, as long as we got the city and the region fields filled in, then we can click for AI to find the neighborhoods. You can also put in manually as well. Now, sometimes you will find that it goes a little bit more detail. So it's got here for Pattaya Soi 4 and Soi 5. Soi means street, okay? So I'm going to get rid of all of these that are basically street names. I don't want street names. It's gone far too detailed. But it tells me it's accurate, so I'm not too bothered. I can do this one time, and then it's done for this whole campaign. And there's some things in here that I see that is kind of, it's accurate, but it needs to be worded different. Okay, so for example, Jomtien Beach. I don't want Jomtien Beach. What I want is Jomtien. Okay, which is like a sort of town within Pattaya, if you like. So I'll choose Jomtien. I'll click on that. Once it's added, I'll take that one off. And we got Pattaya Beach, which I don't want. City center, I'll just put Pattaya center. Okay, I can click on the enter button. I can get rid of the city center one. Okay, Naklua, Nongpru, Oyai. Circumvent will take off this one. So just bear with me a second, guys. Okay, Pattaya South. Okay, put in here South Pattaya. Put this in, and then I'll get rid of that. Okay. So this is kind of giving me a better list of things that we can do. I'll take off that one. Stick others in that I know of that should be there, for example. Okay, so how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's just see if we can get rid of one more. Okay, we got 10 services, and we got 5 services and 10 neighborhoods. That means 50 pages, right? Okay, I'm going to bring it down just since we're on a webinar. I don't want to have to wait too long for the pages to generate. So I'm just going to get rid of 2 or 3 of these. I've got 2 Nakluas, 2 different spellings, one in Thai, one in English. So it's 3, 6, 7. Okay, so that would give us about 35 pages, I think. Okay, click on next. Okay, so this is important, especially if you're working with clients. Okay, you're going to find this on every single version of the neighborhood pages editions. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of this. What I normally do, for my own use, I would just use the Fireshot Chrome extension. Okay, Fireshot Chrome extension, because what we can do with that is we can take a whole page screenshot, which you don't want to do because you've got in here create new campaign and it looks like it's automated. What you can do is you can just screenshot what's in front of you. Okay, so I could just say capture the visible part. That's going to save it for me, and I can save that to a PDF, which is why it's better than just doing sort of print screen on your computer. Okay, and that saves that for you. It tells people, tells your potential clients, you know, what neighborhoods and what services you're going to do. Okay, total 35 pages. So we can generate the 35 pages, and that will go off and do it. Okay, now what I haven't built in yet that I was trying to do just before I got onto the webinar, with 2 things, actually 2 things. The irony is that we don't have in here a service in the marketing agency edition for neighborhood pages. We have got programmatic SEO, which it would fall under. So it's kind of there, but it's not there, if you see what I mean. We should really have neighborhood pages. That should be the first one. So that will be added straight after the webinar. I will get that added. And secondly, what was the other one? Yeah, the internal link structure. If we know what the domain is going to be, okay, if we know what the domain is going to be for a campaign, then we also know what the URL slugs can be. So there's an option that we got within the neighborhood pages. Let me just come into the marketing one here. Did I miss that in the settings? For the URL slug, okay, for the URL slug, it should be in here. I must have passed it. Yeah, so here we got for the URL slug in settings. So I've bought a domain. Just I kind of made a company, but I don't want to change our company name over to Vibe Labs because it's more accurate for what we're doing now. We can choose the slug pattern in here. So we can choose, like, for example, marketing agency in Pattaya or Pattaya marketing agency, etc. You can choose that. Then it can determine what the internal links need to be. Okay, it can tell if you've put that domain name in there. What I haven't put in here yet, what's really important, is when we create pillar pages, which are going to be sort of category level pages for the main major area. In this case, Pattaya would not be broken down into local neighborhoods. I would have something like PPC services in Pattaya or SEO services in Pattaya, and every sort of PPC service in every local neighborhood should be linking. Each one of those pages should be linking back up to the pillar page. And if we know the domain name, then we can tell what that pillar page URL is going to be even before we built it. Okay, it kind of solves this, the chicken and egg situation where you're thinking, should I create these neighborhood pages before the pillar pages, so that that means I need to add the links to the pillar pages manually, or should I create the pillar pages first, which is going to be a lot less work maybe, and then create the neighborhood pages. Okay, that solves that. I haven't put it in there yet, but I will put it in after the webinar. Okay, I was trying to get it in there earlier, but I just ran out of time. And what that means is we can have not just the internal links to other neighborhood pages, but we can also be linking to the pillar pages that are related to that. Okay, and the reason I haven't had time to put it in there yet is because it needs to be really specific with the back end to recognize if we are offering something like Facebook ads or Google ads, then it should recognize that we're going to have a pillar page for PPC agency in Pattaya or Chicago or London, wherever it's going to be. Okay, it's going to take a little bit of testing to get that part right before we can push it as a live sort of feature, but that will be built in as well. So it's two things to be added later. Hopefully today we can get both done. All right, so let's come back into here. Okay, so we've got 35 pages created, and I've got 38 pages in total. Okay, 3 were done previously. Now notice they all save as drafts. Okay, they all save as drafts. If I click through on one of these, we have changed from the real estate version. We've changed how the editing happens. You can see every section in here has got edit. It's less confusing, because you can see visually what you can change. Okay, so for example, about Bangsari, we haven't got any information here. Okay, I can click with generate. Oh, that's an image prompt. Okay, I need to check that. We should have a generator here for that. And this stuff we had before, for some reason, something's got really messed up when we did these fixes. So yeah, I'm going to have to do a little bit more work. Okay, so I can't do that right now. It looks like the content generation part, something has failed, but I can get it fixed straight away afterwards. Whereas it was doing it all nicely when I did the demo video. Let me try one more, see if it's happening with all the pages. Oh, this one has got. Okay, so some have not and some have got. So I need to get the consistency there, which I will get Claude to help me to work with Base 44. But here we can see we've got nice formatting, etc. as well. Now, when you click through in the preview like that, when you're in your dashboard and your pages have been created, the first thing, if you click on the headline, you're going to see something like this. You're probably wondering, where's the sidebar? We need the sidebar. If you click on preview again in here, then your sidebar will appear. Okay, and you have choices in settings as well, what appears here. You can choose to have more services in that local neighborhood, or you can choose to have the same service in different neighborhoods for some internal linking and some other details as well. Okay, and all of this, I don't know, something's got messed up here. Let me come back, close that preview. If I click on edit, yeah, I've got work to do in here, guys. There's something changed from me doing the demo. I might even have to roll back to where that demo was and just rebuild again some new features, because all of this was done really, really nicely. And for some reason, the AI, when building stuff, has decided to change some stuff. That's one of the things that happens when you're building with AI. Sometimes when you're building tools with AI, it starts to, I don't know why it would do that, why it would change something like this. I've got no idea why it does that. But anyway, you would not want to go through like 40 pages or 80 pages and go and do this manually. It needs to be updated from the back end, from my side, to be able to avoid that. So I'm going to have to work with Claude and get this back to where it was. But this is basically the process of creating the pages, etc. There is nothing hard about the actual stuff that you need to do for being able to go and generate those pages. I've got some things that I need to get back to where it was, which I'll do straight away after the webinar. And when it's fixed, I'll post them to the WhatsApp group. Okay, if not, the worst thing can happen is a revert all the changes that have happened since I did the demo video, which has gone back maybe about 5-6 days or something since I did that demo. I'll just go and find it, delete everything that happened afterwards, and just start to rebuild again. Just do one bit at a time and test as we go along. Okay, so we can get back to where we were, because it was working fine, really fine. We just tried to add some extra bits and pieces to make the tool better. Right, so that's basically how we can use the neighborhood pages for a campaign. Okay, very easy. It's designed to be very easy, but there's a ton of stuff happening in the background. There's, you know, kind of advanced prompts happening in the background, so we can get that local area information, so we can get unique content on everything as well. Okay, we still got some short videos to do for the other stuff, things like the leads and the forms and stuff. Before I do those though, I'm probably going to be doing some updates on these to make them really easy and give you choices as well. Because when we're in these sort of landing pages in here, for example, when we come down, we could have the forms in here, or we could have just a simple button if you wanted to link out to a landing page that you've got, or to a form that you've got. Somebody was asking, can I just have a button that links to my Go High Level form? That kind of thing I need to build in. Okay, so we will continue to fix that, so that we can do that. For the leads, this is only going to work if we can have an API working together with WordPress. It's something I haven't properly looked into how to do yet, but it's on the radar because I need it for all of the neighborhood pages. I need to find a way that we can connect, and it's probably going to have to come via a third-party WordPress plugin or something that's got an API or something like that. Okay. When we get into the bulk reviews, what we can see here is that it's going to give you an SEO score, and when you hover over something that needs work, it's going to tell you exactly what it needs. Okay. So that we can go and quickly do the editing, etc. as well. But one thing I did notice there when we were in the dashboard and when we went into that page that did not get the content, okay, when we are in here, we did have, and we should have, like an AI generation button for the content. That's disappeared. I don't know why the AI would decide, okay, I'm going to make that disappear. But that's what's happening. Okay, so I'm either going to have to roll it back or just try and fix as I find as I go through these pages. So apologies for that, but we'll get it fixed and get it fixed quickly. Let's see if we get any questions. Yeah, Noah's case study. Okay, and just go to Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Some people call it X. To me, it's always going to be Twitter. In fact, I was there on that page right now. And that's not the same one. If I go into Premium, go to X Pro. I've got neighborhood pages column here, so I can keep up to date if anybody else is talking about it as well. Did I go past it? Just bear with me a second. It usually appears before here. Unless he's removed it. I don't think he's removed it. I've got it saved somewhere in the thread settings or something like that. I think I've actually got a link to it in the doc here. No, I haven't. Okay. Let me just check one thing, because I made 2 versions of this marketing agency session doc. One for me with my notes as well. Okay, I'll get back to your questions in a second, guys. I'm just trying to find what I had two versions. One was for me with some notes and some links and stuff, and the other one was for attendees, because I get Claude now to help me to map this out, so that when we've finished, as I'm doing the demo, everything that I've done a demo in is actually in here, so that you can revert back to it anytime you want. But I did have a link to Noel's case study, but it's just not showing an X Pro anymore, which is kind of weird, because it was here. Okay, let's see if I can do a search. Maybe I can find it that way. I don't think he would have taken it off, because he'd got quite a lot of attention from that. Might just see if I can find it in ThreadReader. If you never had a ThreadReader, by the way, ThreadReader app is really good. It costs like just $3 per month. And if you find some profiles on Twitter that are sharing stuff that is, kind of high value content, you can basically save those authors within ThreadReader. And every time they make a post, like a long thread or an article within Twitter, it automatically saves, and it sends a PDF. It creates a PDF from the Twitter threads, etc. It sends to your inbox. Let's go to my archives in here. And it only costs $3 per month, which is really cool. But I've got to go back a bit. Okay, I'm not going to do it that way. Let me try authors. Let's see if we can find. I did have that link. I'm pretty sure I had saved it here. And I had saved it exactly here. I remember doing it. Just bear with me. No. Can only see one version of the. I'm pretty sure I did this. I remember doing it, but I'll find it right now. Okay, let's see. No. See if I can find it in his archives in here. This cool thing about the ThreadReader app, it gives us that ability that we can go and dig into their previous Twitter posts, but not just every Twitter post they did, just the ones that are sort of long form. So here it is, 47 neighborhood pages. Okay. Let me share it from the thread reader app. There might be a link in here somewhere that will take you to the actual post, but I'll put this in anyway because it's all in one. Instead of having a Twitter thread where you have to go through all the different tweets, which basically commenting on the previous sort of Twitter post, is here set out, is here in one, just one document. Okay, so generates 47 neighborhood pages, each generates 100,000 per year, total 5 million annual sales. Okay, and it tells you the setup, and it tells you the old approach, and the new approach was the individual neighborhood pages. And each page includes, we've got all of this in the real estate edition, by the way, and plus more. I took it further. Okay, things like the marketing data stuff in here, local expert angle, all that kind of stuff. This is the case study. And as soon as I seen it, I knew I was going to build. I knew as soon as I seen this, because when you have a case study like that, we can use that even if we don't have that case study ourselves. Okay, we can tap into that, which gives the whole strategy credibility immediately. And because this guy's got a lot of credibility on social media, it kind of makes it easy to stand up. So that's the case study. Client feature. Okay, how does the client feature work? Okay, now what we can do in here is you can add a client. So if you've got an agency, you've got a client, you can give your client a name, give it a website, give it anything you want in here. Okay, I'll just put in here, instead of vibe-labs.marketing, I can put in here vibe-labs.com. Okay, and I'll call this client Jane Doe. Okay, so we add a client, and we can click on manage. We can make them active, inactive. Okay, and we can put in details, put in notes, what services they offer, etc., etc. Now, notice here that the saved services are, okay, I need to take a screenshot from me later. Okay, I'm just going to have to, just bear with me a second. I need to do this. Okay, it's going to remind me that this should have all the services here. What it's done is it's chosen the services that I've got from my own agency, okay, which is what we find in the settings. But each client should have their own settings exactly the same as what you find in the settings there. So I need to get that updated. That's why I took a screenshot, so I don't forget it when I'm closing the tabs after the webinar. I'll see it and get it started straight away. So you will have, your clients will have their own specific services. And so instead of you having, like you have got in your settings, which is going to be for your own stuff, okay, it should have all this list the same, exact same. And so you can do multiple profiles, one for yourself and one for clients, okay? It's basically what it is. That's how the clients services, how the clients work. So you, if you wanted to do, for example, okay, say for me here, maybe I want to do my main campaign that I've got in my main settings here for Pattaya. And then I wanted to do it as well for Bangkok, and I wanted to do it for Phuket, or I wanted to do it for other cities. Then I could just simply add myself as a client, but I could put Tony Hayes, Bangkok, Tony Hayes, Phuket, Tony Hayes, wherever, okay? And you could just put yourself for each one of, as a client for each one of those services, so that you would go into that client whenever you wanted to create a campaign. You would start from that client profile to be able to do that, okay? That way, as you go to generate from there, you're going to be choosing the client when you're actually in the dashboard. Just come in, create a new campaign. Then we should have a drop down here with clients. Stephanie, did we not have a drop down here with clients before? I'm pretty sure we did. That's another thing. Okay, I'll get a bit of work to do for the rest of the day on this to get this back up to speed. I think I'm actually going to be better just to revert to where we were, because I know that we had all this stuff. And somehow the AI just thought it was a good idea to wipe it out while it added something that was probably just a little bit of polishing, a little bit of extra, I don't know. Sometimes when we're polishing, we just want to add little extra bells and whistles to make it better, to make it easier, to make it more logic in the workflow, for example. And it decides, okay, while I'm doing that, I'm going to wipe out this. So I need to roll back. I think that's the only option I've got, get it back to where it was, because we definitely had that kind of stuff in there. Okay, anyway, I'll work on that as soon as we finish the webinar. So, you know, when I built when I built this from the sort of core template that I rebuilt about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it didn't take very long to get it to where it was when we did the demo. So, you know, if it's going to take me just like 4 or 5 hours to get there, then I'll just run through it all again and get there, so that we can have this working the way it should work. Okay, let's see what else. Beauty Wellness Edition. We've got it all mapped out. You know, in reality, I could probably release one of these every single week. Now that we've got the core, but I need to try and avoid these things that AI is doing itself. There is a way in Base 44. If you do use Base 44, don't be put off by, you know, when you see stuff like this. It just happens from time to time. It doesn't actually happen that often either. But what you can do if you are using Base 44, and which we did not do with this, is you can click on the little gear icon down here. Let me just remove my image. In fact, let me just pull this out. Let me stretch this over here so you can see. Just stretch it a little bit wider. If you're using Base 44, it's one of the easiest builders you can use. You will see there's a little gear icon there next to the chat where you are telling it to do stuff. When you click on that, you can click on something called AI controls. And what you can do is you can freeze files once you have tested, once things are working, things like the edit page, like the dashboard. When you're happy with them, you can just checkbox them, and that freezes them. That means that the AI can no longer work on those pages or those specific features. It cannot do it. If it tries to, it cannot do it, and it will tell you, I can't work on that because you've already frozen it. That's what we should have done with this, and this is what I'm going to have to do when I do a quick rebuild. So I think, to be honest, guys, I'm going to need about 4 hours. Okay, I'm going to need about 4 hours, just me concentrated fixing from the last really good working version when I did the demo video, and start to add those bits and pieces. It means that whatever I did in the demo video is going to be working. Okay, so, and that's most of what I was going to be showing you today. So we haven't lost, you know, anything really. It was just the extra bits and pieces, the extra polishing, and some other bits that Stephanie was working on as well. But we'll get it done very quickly. Pages with images added. Okay, let's go into, come back over here. Okay, what we can do is we can click on select all. Okay, and we can click on generate images. Now, I don't want to take every single one when we're on the webinar. I'll take maybe 1 or 2, 3. Okay, and what we can do is we can generate images for those ones that have been checkboxed. You do need to have an ideogram API. Okay, and here you've got some options. Generate one at a time with 3-second delay. This is going to be the best way to do it. And you can skip pages that's already got images. So if you did like me doing 3 right now, and I went back later to do the rest, then I could skip the existing images. Or we can just click on generate all. Okay, so I'll click on that. Something has failed. Okay, again, this was all working when I did the demo. I'm going to have to roll back. Okay, Stephanie, if you're still here, we need to make a list of all the stuff that we've been updating over the past 4 days, because we need to. I'm going to roll it back. Okay, and we'll start to rebuild out from there. I'll do it all today. There's something not right with the ideogram API. if you are building in base 44 at any point, here's what to do when something like that happens. Just for people who build AI tools, what you do is right click on the page that the last action was taken. Okay. You click on inspect, go over to console, and right click somewhere inside where it says console, copy it, and then you can go back into base 44, into the app that you were building. Just say something like, here's a console log. Try generating images, and none were generated. Okay. Just a quick tutorial on how you deal with the AI in those kind of situations. It's usually quick to fix. You usually find it's got something missing in the code, or something misplaced in the code, or something like that, or it hasn't connected with the API properly. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to have to roll back and do this all again. Okay, let's see what else we got. There's a way to drip feed. Good question. If you want to drip feed, when we come to publishing, we can choose to do that. Okay. Let me just come back into here. That's gone as well. Oh my God. Okay. Let me just add it in here. We did have a drip feed feature. We had to be able to do it like 1 post a day, 5 posts a day, 10 posts a day, etc. That's the way I did it instead of on a schedule with dates, because that confuses people from past experience of working with tools that does this kind of thing. Okay, I'll add this in again today. That was there before. It was definitely there before. Okay, we'll get that added. Okay, so not the best demo in the world, but at least we're going to roll it back and we'll get it back to the way it was. And that is almost instant once I find the point where things started to break. Okay, so if I can pinpoint the part where I had done the demo from, then it will work exactly like the demo video that I put on YouTube. Okay, and it's just a matter of building out again from there. All right, any other questions, guys? Okay. Schedules and bulk review. Wow, I had no idea. No, this is not. This is not the way I've done it. It's definitely changed something. This is definitely not how I had done it. I did not have and it's not even clicking. The button's not even clicking. Here's the thing with this, from past experience, when you put in some dates and stuff like that, people get confused. It's easier to say, for example, if I clicked on schedule, I had worded this differently as well. That's why I knew straight away. But it's easier to have it programmed to say make 1 post a day, or 3 posts a day, or 5 posts a day, or even just give people a choice how many posts they want to make every single day. Okay, and do it like that, so it's daily posting. It's less confusing for the user, and it's easier for the actual tool to just process on a kind of schedule when it knows it's got to do like 3 per day or 5 per day, etc. as well. Okay, but even that button's not working. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that straight after. Okay, it's in the drip feed. Okay. We moved in an update. Okay, but I'm going to have to roll it back. I need to get it back to where we were with the demo. And if you can maybe grab from the Claude chat that we did, Stephanie, to mention every update that we did over the past 5-6 days or something like that, then at least if I roll it back, then we have it to the working version that we did the demo with, and then we can just slowly build out again. I'll do that. I'll do that for the rest of the day if it needs, and we'll have this working again. Then I can get to the home services edition and make sure we don't have the same mistakes in there. Okay. And guys, you got any other questions? Anything else? Apologies for this, but this kind of stuff happens. It's part of the stuff that happens with building with AI. What I should have done, which is totally my error, my mistake, is I should have gone in and I should have gone into the AI controls and I should have frozen things after they were working, which would have meant no changes would have happened to these. Okay. Once you freeze them, once you got a working feature, freeze it, and then it can never be taken out. The code cannot be changed. Otherwise, AI does stuff like that. It just changes stuff. So it's just all my mistake, really. But I'll fix it, and we'll have a fix quick. We'll have a working version quick. I've just got to identify exactly at what point that things changed when I did the demo video. Okay, so that will be done, and I'll do that first, roll it back, and then we can build out from there. All right. Rachel, you've got 8 domains you're going to use for rank and rank. Is there anything you can do to get them to rank quickly? Well, the neighborhood pages strategy in itself is probably one of the best things that you could do. As far as, you know, doing backlinks and stuff like that, if you have a look at the sites that we've got in the SEO sneakies tool, or even better and quicker and easier, is to do a press release. Okay, do a press release. You can get press releases on Fiverr.com. We were going to start a press release service, and I never got it started up. I think we were going to do for minimum 200 links. We use a white label service that I can't disclose what it is because we sold a product and kind of promised we would not disclose what that is. But it's very, very reasonably priced. It will do anything between 200 and 400 links, because not every press release gets picked up by every place that it's distributed to. Okay, so we can submit to 450 sites. There might be 250 reject it, they don't want it, and then 200 pick it up. But I think minimum was going to be like 200 links, and we were going to do that with the writing just for backlinks purposes. We were going to do that together with the writing for something like $37. But you know, it's just for backlinks purposes. That's the quickest and easiest way, in my opinion, because you can take one piece of content, generate lots of links on high authority domain sort of news platforms that, you know, it's quick and easy, rather than doing the individual backlinks like the foundational kind of links. But if you do the foundational links, although it might take, you know, a little bit extra time, that is going to be, you know, good for a long time. In fact, I think we were talking to somebody to actually do it as a service, and I think we were going to do something like, I can't remember, $37 or $47 for the foundational links for being able to do things like this. I think it was about $37, but not all of the sites that we have on SEO sneakers, because a lot of those are for sort of software as a service, software kind of tool sites, directories and all that kind of stuff. But for the foundational links, the sort of core links that we can get for free I think it was going to be about $37 for about 50 links or something like that. And these are solid links. They're not kind of links that you get on Fiverr.com that's going to harm you. But I would start with the press release. It's the quickest and easiest, simplest. One piece of content, get it sent. Okay, you can find somebody on Fiverr, or we can introduce. If anybody's interested in the service for those foundational links, for the neighborhood pages or for press release, let us know within the WhatsApp group, okay? And if there's enough interest, I'll find a way to be able to get that service into action as quickly as possible. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about it, Phil. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm looking for, working with Base 44, I'm looking for just ways that I can take stuff further. I forgot the basics, like freezing the files, which I should have done, but it's not the end of the world. If I can just pinpoint the part where we had done the demo from, then everything reverts back to that. Everything. If you can see any prompts that we've done in here, if I revert anything here, anything that came after goes, okay, it just reverts back to that particular state of play. It's going to be the quickest, easiest way to do it, even though I have to sort of build out everything that we worked on over the past sort of 5-6 days, but at least we got a usable tool immediately once I get to that point. Okay, we'll do that straight after the webinar. All right, I think I'm going to have to finish up here, guys. I've got somewhere else to go. What I will do is I'm going to record a new demo video separately from this session. Okay. I might even just record this session as a video, because I really don't want to put this out when I've seen what the AI has done to the features that we had. So I might just re-record this. And, I'll put a link into the WhatsApp group. If I'm going to do it in a live stream, if anybody's there and they want to jump in, they can. After I have reverted, okay, and I've done a couple of little things that I need to do. There's just some really important things that we were adding, and the things like the internal linking was really, really, really important, especially for the pillar pages. And we haven't got a video yet on the pillar pages either. So all of that needs to be in the one single demo, and get that all recorded on video so that people can come in and just watch the specific parts that they want to watch as well. Okay, we'll put some timestamps when we do that, so that you can find exactly which part of the demo you can find for a pillar page or for internal linking or whatever it might be. Okay, all of that I'm going to be working on straight away, but I need to pop out somewhere first, and then I can do that. Okay, I think that's all we're going to do for today. We'll come back next week and talk about strategy stuff. In the meantime, what I want to do as well is I want to look into the ad stuff, and maybe find somebody who can come in and do a session with us, or like an extra session, not session 2, but an extra session that can help us for things like doing like Facebook ads for local businesses, and maybe Google ads, or maybe even some YouTube ad stuff as well. I'll see who I can find. I've got some contacts that I can reach out to. Maybe we can get one of them to come in and do a demo. What will happen though, if we do have that, they're probably going to have something to sell, like a course or something like that. But if that gets us some basic training, I'll take it, for being able to just get a course set up, mapped out by them. And if maybe they've got a tool, maybe they've got a course where you can get more details, and it's up to everybody if they want to purchase that. But it's the only way you can really get these people to come into a session like this, usually. Okay. When you sell neighborhood pages, do you give them their own domain for each page, or put them all under a single domain? All right, Rachel, what I suggest you do for the domains, each page is not going to have its own domain. It's going to have its own URL, but not its own domain. I would set up for them a separate WordPress site. Okay, so if their real estate agency is called Prestige Real Estate Services, okay. No, so if it was Prestige Real Estate, if that was the name of their real estate company, then I would set up something like Prestige Real Estate and put the word services and then a .com or whatever TLD you want to use, okay? Top level domain you want to use as a .com, .net, .org, whatever you can purchase. You can even do sort of lower costs, like .online, .site, all that kind of stuff if you want to. But I would stick, for a client, I would stick to .com as closely as you possibly could. Put the brand name in there. If the name of their real estate agency is Prestige or XYZ, whatever it is, put it in there and then just put real estate services. Okay, create a new site. Link to that site from the menu bar on their main site. Okay, and that way they've got a link to the services website, but it's not going to be part of their main website. Reason why is because when we're doing things like this is basically programmatic SEO. Okay, when we're doing programmatic SEO campaigns, it can easily run into hundreds of pages, and you don't want to have hundreds of pages on a brand site in case at some point Google feels like it needs to penalize. Okay, if you put it on a separate site, then you just simply disconnect it and any harm done is gone later. Okay, and plus it's nicer for customers as well. They're not finding all these pages on a brand site. Okay, just keep it separately and use the brand name. And if you're using sort of exact match keywords, then in that case it would be real estate services. That would be your sort of exact match domain keywords along with the brand. Okay. The recording, I'll put it into the main group, into the Fightback Traffic Systems group. Okay, we don't have any specific group for the Fightback Traffic System for the neighborhood pages. I just find it easy, and also other people who might not have understood what the neighborhood pages concept was about will get to see this kind of stuff as well. But the first thing I need to do is find where the rollback is and get it back to the point where I did that demo video, and we can get a working version almost immediately, and then we'll start to build that again. Okay. All right. Is AEO, GEO one of the services? Okay, let's go into services here. Let's go into settings. The answer to your question is yes, it's there, but you can put any service you want. Okay, you can put any service you want. You can even click here to suggest with AI if you want to as well. And you can add a custom. So you can put in your own custom services as well. But you will see there's sort of traditional marketing at the top. And as we come down into the AI marketing, then you can see we've got geo. We've got programmatic SEO, which would be the neighborhood pages where that came under. We also got like AI SEO, AEO optimization. How many names have they got for this? Just geo, AEO, AI SEO. I don't even know the difference, if there is a difference between some of them, because I just thought, maybe naively that everybody would settle on one and everybody would use the same one, but it's not happening. We've still got 3 different variations of it. Okay. Yeah, you can add your own, but it's here. Just scroll down in the settings into the AI marketing section, and you can add your own as well, or you can even get AI to generate some for you. Okay, now before I go, actually, let me just show you some stuff. Home services. Okay, this one, I was hoping to get this released tonight. I might be a few hours delayed because I need to go and fix the marketing one. But what I've done in here is I've added a little button that says expand next to each of these different business types. So for example, plumbing. Now, if I was to do what we would have done with the local traffic commando years ago, we would have things like plumbers in London and plumbing contractors in London and stuff like that. That's not going to work today in 2026. It's not going to work. So what we do instead, so you can click on the expand button, okay, and it's going to tell you all the different services that plumbers offer. So you could have drain cleaning in London, pipe repair in London, that kind of stuff, okay. And this gives you all the different services that they actually do. And so if you've got 12 services here plus 10 pages, that's 120 pages, yeah. 10 neighborhoods, I should say, that's 120 pages. And we've done the same as well in the legal edition. You can see here, personal injury claims, for example, if I click on that, I've got an extra button to click here for this edition. You can see we've got motor vehicle accident claims, medical malpractice claims, sports injury claims, all that kind of stuff. So it goes even deeper into the long tail, and you've got that long tail of the actual services instead of just plumbers or just personal injury lawyers. It's going into the actual services that they do offer, and you times that by the neighborhoods. Then we're getting really into the sort of long tail, and hopefully, you know, that's going to help to get the impressions, clicks, traffic that you need. Okay. Phil, the bugs and fixes has been there before. It's been there for a while. Probably the quickest, the easiest way, if you want to use that, yeah, by all means use it. I'm not sure that Shay spots that all the time. For the safest thing to do, I would just send in an email. Just send an email to support@anthonyhayes.me. She will pick it up. Or and when you've done that, you could just tag her within the group as well. Just say, Shay, I've sent a support ticket, and so she'll go and check it. But she's checking it all day long. That's her one and only job, just doing support. So that me and Stephanie can get on with the sort of marketing stuff and the building stuff that we're doing. And I've also got a little team as well here who works here nighttime. They do some building, and they do the newsletter stuff. So it's a small team, but everybody's got their role, and all of them, they can build now with the base 44. All right, I think we can finish up there for now, guys. Okay, there's 100% chance I'm going to redo this. Okay, I'm not going to leave it like this as a replay. I think I'm either going to redo it once I've got the fixes, or record a video that just goes through the whole lot. Yeah, it won't be left like this, so we need to update it and get the tool the way it should be. Then I can redo it. Yeah. Okay, so we will have that by the end of this week, the sort of redone version of this webinar, and then next week we have got strategy stuff. And if I can find somebody to help us with the ads kind of training stuff, if they will give, you know, enough in a live session that you could walk away and implement, then I will bring them in, even if they got something to upsell. Then at least you'll have something that you can play back and get a checklist for, or something you can just follow the steps. Okay. No, I would not, Dennis. No, I would not. Dennis is asking, would you link to each neighborhood page? Would you link each neighborhood page to the main website? No. Personally, I would not. With the pillar pages, let me explain the pillar pages. Okay. Say I'm in London, and I've got marketing workshops in London as a service, and I've got marketing workshops in one neighborhood of London, say Wood Green. Okay, so I've got marketing workshops in Wood Green, and I've got SEO services in Wood Green, and I've got PPC services in Tottenham, and I've got AEO services in Notting Hill, something like that. All of those are going to be linking into relevant pillar pages. Pillar pages, what are they? They're sort of category level. So I would have like PPC services in London, that's a category. SEO services in London, that's a category. I would be using those to link to the main page. Okay. If there's any link just going out from the silo that we're building here, then it should then go to the main page, but from the most strongest pages. And if you're doing the silo within the settings where you're choosing to link to the pillar pages, but not link back from pillar pages into neighborhood pages. You got a choice of two, because I know somebody's going to disagree with me. But what we would normally do, what I would recommend you do, is you use your neighborhood pages to link to your pillar pages. Okay, that's going to be automated in the next update that we get. Okay, and that means that all the link juice is passing up to those pillar pages. It's from those pages that you would link into a client site. Okay, and ideally, if that is linking into the client site, it's going to help to push the client site ranking, the branded website that they've got. It's going to help their ranking, because we're pushing that link just from there. Okay, so from category pages, not from all of the neighborhood pages. Okay, hope that makes sense. Any more questions? Okay, I think we can finish up. I think that we will have an update. Definitely within an hour. I'm going to roll it back. I just need to go and find the point where things started to get messed up, so I can copy and paste everything from there. Then I'll get AI to help me to figure out what actual features we were trying to add, so that I don't miss any when I do a rebuild from that point forward. Okay. All right, guys, thanks. We'll probably reschedule this maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. We do have a launch coming up on the 10th, and I've got to do a couple of webinar sessions for that sort of pre-launch for a tool called Traffic Magnets. Keep an eye out for that as well. It's a very, very good tool. It's a solid tool. And we will try and get home services. I'll try and get to it as soon as I can fix the marketing agency. Okay. It might not be tonight as I'd scheduled it to be, but if I can get the marketing agency fixed today, then I'll be working on that tomorrow. Okay. And if you are part of Evolution IM, we've got a session tomorrow for the AI Agent Factory, part 2. Okay. We're building an AI agent that creates AI agents, basically. And so we did part 2 tomorrow, same time tomorrow is what we did with this one, if you're an Evolution IM member. Okay. Thanks.